Hello, Chicago. The housing affordability is still at 30-year low. Mortgage rates are still above 7, and our local housing market is still on fire. So what is really happening with the housing market? We'll cover all this in our May housing market update. In today's video, we'll be talking about three things. We'll be talking about housing affordability, we'll be talking about mortgage rates and housing market and its stats. So let's jump right into it. So as you will see in this graphic, housing affordability is at 30-year low, which is leading many millennials and also Gen Zers now to wonder if they will ever going to be able to get into home ownership. Median monthly mortgage payment has almost doubled in the last 5 years, jumping from a little over $1,000 in 2019 to just over $2,000 in 2024. In response to affordability and consumer demand, home builders are actually starting to build smaller homes than they had previously. According to a recent National Home Builders Association study, 38% of builders built smaller homes in 2023, and about 25% of those builders said that they plan to build even smaller homes in 2024. This is certainly a great news, as entry-level homes has been a segment of the housing market that's been ignored by new construction builders over the last couple of years. But as real estate agents, we're certainly relieved to know that more inventory is coming to that entry-level segment of the market. And along with our rising prices, mortgage rates were definitely a large factor in the affordability crisis that we are currently experiencing in our housing market. As of this recording, mortgage rates are currently at 7.5%. We did expect several larger rate cuts this year, which did not happen because the Federal Reserve is reluctant to ease restraints before that inflation rate gets in the twos. Chairman Powell was recently quoted saying, "Reducing policy restraints too soon or too much could result in reversal of the progress we have seen in inflation and ultimately require a policy to get inflation back to 2%. So essentially, they don't want to loosen up their grip on the federal funding rate until we see inflation come down a little bit more. With that said, experts are still predicting mortgage rates to come down, but that will take longer than expected, and the reduction will not be as drastic as originally projected and everyone hoped for. So with this great news about affordability and mortgage rates, you would assume that housing market must be in shambles. And if you're one of those people that are assuming that, I'm relieved to tell you that you would be very wrong. So here is our latest national market update. U.S. existing home sales improved for the second month in a row, jumping 9.5% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.8 million units, exceeding economists' expectations and making the largest monthly gain in a year, according to National Association of Realtors. An increase in home sales despite of shifting mortgage rates and higher selling prices is indication of a strong buyer demand as we enter the spring selling season. According to National Association of Realtors, total inventory grew 5.9% nationally month over month and 10.3% year over year to 1.7 million units. At the current sales price, that is 2.9 months supply, which means that we are still in a very strong seller's market. Strong buyer demand and a limited supply of inventory is really what helped push the median sales price up by 5.7% year over year, the 8th consecutive month of annual price increases. Now let's talk about what is happening in Chicago. New listings in the city of Chicago were down 13.1% for detached homes and 10.3% for attached properties. This means that less sellers are entering the market, and as a result, less homes are being sold. Listings under contract decreased 14.7% for detached homes and 7.4% for condos and townhomes. The good news for the sellers is that the median sale price was up 13.6% for detached homes and 2.6% for condos. Month supply of inventory decreased 13.6% for detached homes and 0.6% for attached units. The reason less sellers are entering market and not putting their homes for sale is so-called lock-in effect, where sellers are reluctant to sell and let go of their low interest rates, which is completely understandable. Keep in mind that this data covers all 77 Chicago official neighborhoods, and every neighborhood is performing differently depending on many different factors. Now, let's go even more local and dive into the latest stats for single-family homes in Lakeview. New listings took a dip down by 16.7%, but here is the exciting part. Despite the decrease in new listings, closed sales soared by 41.2% comparing to this time last year. And while the median sale price had a slight decrease of 2.1%, dropping from $1.529 million last year to $1.498 million this year, the list-to-sell price ratio showed an uptick of 0.4%. What this means is that the price that homes are selling for in relation to what they're listed for went up by 0.4%. Now, shifting our focus to condos and townhomes, we saw a similar trend with new listings, which were down by 19.1%. Closed sales also went down by 14.4% year over year, declining from 305 units in March of 2023 to 261 units in March of 2024. However, there's a good news on the horizon, and that is the median sale price saw an increase from $398,000 to $415,000, marking a solid 4.3% rise. What does all this mean to you if you're a seller? With decrease in inventory, chances of your listing standing out and receiving more offers significantly increases. And if you're a buyer, be prepared to put your best foot forward as the market is extremely competitive. So whether you're considering buying or selling, now is really the perfect time to seize the opportunity. And I know that this may sound like a sales pitch, but the reason I say this is because, as you can see, prices continue to trend up. So if you're a buyer, it is better to lock in today's price and refinance later when rates do go down, than wait for rates to drop, which will allow many more buyers to enter the market, creating more competition, which will have even a larger effect on home price growth. So if you'd like to know what is happening with prices and inventory in your specific neighborhood, give me a jingle or drop the name of your area in the comment below, and I'll be happy to send you the stats and chat about your options. This is Savic with Dreamtown Realty here, your Chicago real estate expert. Stay tuned for more Chicago real estate news, and as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you know of anyone who can benefit from this information, please share, comment, and give this video a like.